All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome to episode 9 of the Together Achieving Greatness show here, sponsored by Tag Performance and Nutrition. If you are ready to transform your body and mind and unleash greatness in your life, reach out, Tag Performance and Nutrition. We can help with that through our individualized fitness and nutrition coaching plans designed to help you unleash greatness, fix any issues, achieve your goals, and just create a better life for yourself and build the best version of yourself. So if you are interested, reach out, send me a DM, comment below this video. But getting into this episode, before we do that, make sure you are subscribing first. It helps me out so I can get this out there, get more people noticed, and ultimately help people, help more people. That's what I'm looking to do. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and like the video below if you're enjoying my content. So again, I know holidays seasons here, and last episode was on a holiday tips for holiday eating and stuff, so hopefully everyone had a good Thanksgiving and enjoyed their time with family and friends, and just want to follow up and kind of get into fat loss a little bit today, because that's um, a big topic, and especially this time of year with the New Year's coming up, New Year's resolutions and all that garbage. But a lot of people want to lose fat, or a lot of people want to lose weight, and I'd say you don't just want to lose weight, because weight just means you're losing muscle as well. You want to lose fat while maintaining as much muscle as possible, or even building muscle. If you're a beginner, you can do that. So we want to lose body fat, but because that's going to help us, obviously it's going to help us feel better. It's going to be better for all your health markers, blood pressure. It's going to be better on your joints, heart health, all that stuff. We all know that we don't want to be overweight and fat, but a lot of people just don't do it because they just don't want to put any effort into it. And fat loss is difficult, yeah. I mean, a lot of people can lose fat, but most people just put it right back on. Because we want to figure out how to lose it and keep it off and maintain that, and ultimately build muscle, build a leaner, more athletic physique. Because hey, who doesn't want to look better naked? I mean, I do. I'm sure you do too. So, and fat loss is a big way to do that. So losing fat, and a lot of people, when they think about losing fat, they just think they can just jump right into, oh, I'm a diet. I call it your nutrition plan and caloric restriction. So, number one, in order to lose fat, you do have to be in a caloric deficit, which means you are burning more calories than you are taking in. So, let's say you figure out, and we're not going to get into the equations and everything for figuring out um, your caloric intake and all that stuff. We can do that. We'll do that at a different time. You can check out my content and stuff for that. But let's say you burn 2,000 calories a day. That means you want to eat less than that. So you don't want to be taking in a surplus. You don't want to be eating 2,500 calories if you're burning 2,000, because that's that surplus. That's that building mass phase, or a lot of cases people building fat, and that's what we don't want. So we want to lose fat, so we need to be in a caloric deficit. That's number one thing. But that is not the only thing. There's so many more things that you need to focus on and realize, and a lot of that comes to nutrition. It's not training. Training is not there's no such thing as a fat loss workout. You can train all you want, but if you're eating crap, you're not sleeping, you're stressing out, it's not going to matter. So, in this episode, I want to get into some reasons why you're probably not ready for fat loss, and a checklist of things to do before you move into the fat loss phase. So, start off, most people think they're ready for fat loss, but they're really not, because they come, and I get this, a lot of people coming to me looking for help. They are coming to me because they're always dieting. They're always eating less. A lot of them are super restrictive. They're not eating enough calories, so they're eating like 1,000, 1,200 calories. when they should be eating a lot more and a lot more good food. And they just neglect their self care. They don't really care for themselves. They're not sleeping. They're not eating well. They're not exercising and moving. They're just sitting all day. And then we also got people that come from the other side of the spectrum where they're overtraining. All they're doing is training 7 days a week, going balls to the wall, just fatiguing themselves, thinking they have to sweat and be sore and be tired to get a good workout, which that is the exact opposite. That is exactly what we do not want. You don't want to be sore all the time. You don't want to be tired and fatigued. That's just going to make your performance worse. It's going to tire you out. You're going to get sick. You're going to get injured, things like that. So we want to eliminate that stuff because that's what most people come to. And then a lot of people just come from eating a bunch of junk or highly processed foods, which, I mean, yes, there could be a time and place for that if you so choose that. But remember, that's a choice. We need to get our nutrition plan, our nutrition thinking, make our calories count and work for us. So get the micronutrients, get the macronutrients in check, and coming from whole, real, quality foods rather than the highly processed stuff that the majority of the American diet comes from. So, but and for those people, the solution is definitely not another diet because that's just gonna make things worse. They're gonna be too over restrictive, too stressed out. So instead, I think it's important to focus on, like I said, making those calories count, increasing the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the fiber, the protein, getting good quality carbs, getting good fats, getting all of this stuff coming from things like meats, vegetables, fruits, potatoes, rice, nuts, seeds, olive oil, dairy, all these whole grains, all these things that are real food. They're minimally processed. Yes, there's a process to every food. So I think of better nutrients, better quality food, real food. Those are some huge things that you need to take into account and do before you even think about losing fat. Because get that, yeah, of course you can lose fat eating a bunch of highly processed food, but it's not going to be a good a physique. You're not going to feel as better. Your health markers are not going to be as good because you're just eating junk all the time. But then we can move into another one that you need to focus on instead of uh, diet at this point is sleeping. Make sure you are sleeping. Get 7 to 8+ hours of sleep and just good quality sleep. Make sure you're consistent and just have a routine and make it a habit and make it important, a priority in your life. Maximize your recovery. This goes with sleep and nutrition as part of your recovery. So you're not going balls to the wall 7 days a week. Maybe you're going 3 times, 4 times a week of lifting, good heavy weight training, and then doing some walks and things on that like that on your off days, rather than doing 8 sessions a hit and 25 group classes a week or whatever people are doing these days. It just doesn't actually help. It's hurting them more than they think. Then yeah, so folks, like I said, quality training. Yeah, 3 to 5 times a week is plenty for lifting weights. Get a good program. Think upper lower split, push pull leg split, or a full body split. If you're doing like 3 times a week, that's always good. Those are good ones rather than the stupid bodybuilder bro splits 7 days a week, a different body part every day, or hit sessions every week because most people's hit is not actually hit training, or distance running, just running all the time. You don't need to do that stuff. Cardio is not going to help as much as you think. Yeah, cardio can be good for your heart health, but it's not a weight loss. It's not necessarily great for weight loss. Lifting weights is better for that. Then you need to take into account that you need to manage your stress. Everything you do in life is stress. Working out, training, eating, work, family life. You got all these different stresses. You don't want to overfill your bucket. You got to manage that and make sure you're taking time. And that goes with the recovery, the sleep. You have to practice patience. Most people do not have patience. You got to be eager and urgent to start, but you have to have patience throughout the entire process. That's huge because things do not happen overnight, especially fat loss, especially building muscle. You got to take your time and do it right because that's what ultimately is going to get you the results you want, where you're actually able to lose that fat. Not only just lose that fat, but you're able to build the muscle or keep it off as well. So you are building these healthy habits for life. And the next one is just consistency. So consistency goes along with patience. Consistently doing the habits, the behaviors that are going to achieve your goal. So set a goal. So maybe your goal is lose 10 pounds of fat. Then work backwards. How are you going to get there? What can you do? You can sleep. You can eat better. You can up your protein intake. You can train 3 times a week. These smaller goals that you can consistently do one after another, stack them on top, and that's what's ultimately going to help you get to where you want to be and get to your goals. So those are some things you can do, because the problem is that most people, they want to lose fat yesterday, and but they don't want to comply or do with any of those strategies that I mentioned before. And then next, I just want to get into like the checklist of things that need to be done in order for you to lose fat. So you need to have a plan. And it doesn't have to be a perfect plan. There's no such thing as a perfect plan. Just have a plan, and kind of, you can even figure it out as you go. Just have a way to get started, figure it out, and figure out a time frame. So once you're ready to lose fat, you need to, because we need to, the time frame could be 3 months, 6 months, whatever it may be. But you should be phasing your nutrition throughout the year. You should not always be in a diet or a caloric deficit. That is the recipe for disaster. Burnout, fatigue, injury, sickness, um, messed up hormones, all that stuff. I've been through all of that, because you can't always be in a caloric deficit. You have to have times where you're eating at a maintenance level. You have to have times where you're trying to build some muscle and eating in surplus. So have a plan, have a time frame, because again, you don't want to be in that diet caloric deficit for years on end. You can't. You're just gonna just screw yourself up and just end up hurting yourself. So you have to figure out like what is really important to you. What is what you like to do. Maybe you like to go out to eat with your husband or wife or family once a week or a couple times a week. Maybe you like to go to the movies or things like that. Um, Eat ice cream, whatever. Go out for drinks. You have to figure out what these things that you are. What I'm trying to think of. Word I'm trying to think of. Um, that you can't live without or don't want to live without, because again, it is a choice that you find you need in your life, or you have to have in your life to live life, because obviously you want to live life too and enjoy life. So you need to find these things that are you don't want to give up, and what you're not willing to give up, and some things you are. So maybe you don't need to go out to eat every week. Maybe you can cut it down to twice a month or once a month, something like that. Because knowing that losing weight, losing fat, you're going to have to give up some of these things, and just make sure, kind of make a list of things that are higher priority and lower priority, things that you can give up. So just be looking at that and realize that that is something you need to do as well. Again, sleep. We need to go shoot for 7+ hours of sleep a night is good. Quality sleep too, not just laying in bed wide awake. You want to be sleeping, get all 3 stages of sleep in there: light, deep, REM. It's all important, because that's going to help. Sleep is when your body recovers. That's when you're actually losing your fat. You're building muscle. You're recovering. You're getting better. Your more sleep is going to lead to a better appetite. You're going to not lean towards the processed food. You're going to make better choices. Your awareness, your energy levels are going to be up. You're going to feel better. So just, yeah, sleep is important. I can't stress enough how important sleep is to living your best life, and especially if you want to lose fat. But get that down first. Get your sleep dialed in first before you start to try and lose body fat. Another one is that you haven't dieted in the last 6 months. So take some time at maintenance or in a surplus, and don't diet for, in 6 months might be, for a lot of people that's right, but for some people it could be less. But we don't, like I said, we don't want to be in that dieting phase or that dieting mindset all the time, because that's why diets don't work, because you just lose the weight and then you don't know what to do next. You think you got to just keep dieting. No, you don't. Like I said before, you have to have different time frames where you're eating in maintenance, you're eating in surplus, because that's going to help keep our body in check, our hormones in balance. We're going to have muscle. We're going to feel better because, like I said, you can't always be restricting yourself in a deficit. That just leads to not anything good. Then the next one is strength train 3 to 5 times a week. I mentioned this before, but make sure you get your training down. Get that down first. Get that dialed in while you're trying to eat, uh, which goes to my next point. Eat 80 to 90% real food, real quality food. Get these things down first. Start making better food choices. Start making better training choices. Get this down. Get that dialed in, and then you can ease into that fat loss. So get that stuff down first, and you'll be well on your way. Next would be drink enough water. So drink, I don't know, half your body weight in water is a good one until your peas light yellow. And even drink more of that. So then more than that. So drink water, get your fluids down, because a lot of people find then when they cut things out when they got to lose weight, they don't realize they're not hydrated. There's so much more dehydrated. They're not keeping water. They're not retaining as much. So make sure you are drinking enough water before you start trying to lose body fat. Um, get your protein up. That goes with the whole real food. Make sure your protein is high. Think, I don't know, a good goal is 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight in protein if you're relatively lean. Overweight, different formulas, but most people do not eat enough protein as it is, especially if you're going to be active and training and trying to gut fat, because protein is what helps us build muscle. It's a building block. It's vital. It's essential to building muscle. And if we have more muscle, we can burn more fat and burn it more easier, because muscle is thermogenic. It helps burn that body fat. No, a pound of muscle does not weigh more than a pound of body fat. A pound is a pound. Just like a pound of feathers is the same as a pound of pennies. It's still a pound, but muscle is more dense. So you could be the same weight, have less body fat, but have more muscle. So that's another reason why the scale is not always the best measure. But make sure your protein is up, because that's going to help us build muscle. It's going to help us recover and maintain that muscle once we are cutting fat. And again, touched on stress, but have a stress management routine. Maybe it's going for walks. Maybe it's meditation. Um, just maybe it's playing video games like I do. I like playing video games. My stress management, because again, everything is stress. Make sure you are following these and just get this down, dialed in before, because cutting fat and being in a deficit, that's a lot of stress on the body. It's a lot of stress on the mind, physically, emotionally. It can stress you out in ways you don't even know, and maybe you do know. But make sure that is something you got dialed in first too, is your stress management routine. All right, well, I got one more, and that's just move more. Shoot, set a step goal. Get your steps down. Get more steps. Shoot for 8,000, then up 10,000, then 12,000. Get more steps each day. That's another thing that's simple. Most people can walk. If you can't, get out and get fresh air. Get outside, move more, do chores, play with the kids. Get that down, because that's going to help. Yeah, it's going to burn some extra calories, but it's just going to help you feeling better. It's going to help your heart, your joints. You're not going to ache and all these other things. And it's just, that could be another form of stress management too, is just getting up and moving. So that is kind of a checklist I have for things that need to be done before you think about losing fat, because like I said, most people are not ready to lose fat, especially people who come in and work with me. Yes, they want to lose fat because they know how much it's going to help their their um their life. It's going to help their heart. It's going to help their joints. It's going to help them feel better. They have more confidence, more energy, and hey, they're going to look better too. So yeah, losing fat is a great thing. It's a great goal and it's something to strive for, but just make sure you are actually ready to lose fat, and make sure your body, your mind, your emotionally, you're all ready for that, because it does take all that stuff uh, in order to achieve it. Because if you just rush into it, no plan, nothing like that, all this stuff, you're not sleeping, you're not training, or you're overtraining, whatever it may be, you're not going to get the results you want. You're not going to, maybe you'll lose some weight, then you hit a plateau, you get mentally burnt out, and then you'll just, go say you thought you screwed up and get right back off track. So again, that is the checklist, guys, for making sure you are ready to lose fat. Do those things first. Again, it's have a plan, figure out your time frame, determine what you're willing to give up and what you're not willing to give up. Get your sleep. Don't diet within, I would say, I'll change it to like 3 to 6 months. Strength train 3 to 5 times a week. Eat 80 to 90% of your nutrition should be from real food, and eating more protein. Drink a lot of water. Have a stress management routine and move more. Get those steps in. So those are some things you need to look at. And when you get those all dialed in, then that fat loss stage comes in. Then you can get that deficit and little tweaks here and there, maybe a little bit more movement, things like that. Because ultimately, you want to be eating as much. I think it's good to be eating as much food as you can while losing weight. So maybe it's adding more movement, adding more walks, things like that, in instead of just cutting your food back all the time. So any questions on fat loss, or if you are looking to get into fat loss or just make some of these habit changes and behaviors to get ready for fat loss, message me, comment below, email me, trevor@tagpn.com. We'll get you scheduled on a free discovery call. And again, guys, thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it. And make sure you like and subscribe to this video below, and we will catch you next time. Thanks, guys.